Welcome back to my channel, Classic Volkswagen Lovers. This is Junior with Classic VW Buck and Sonny the Super Beetle. Today I'm going to replace the alignment bushing for the starter in my transmission. Right there. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to get that out. There's many ways to do it. I'm just going to use whatever tools I have right now and show you how I do it with the bare minimum tools. All right. So this right here is the alignment bushing that came with the new starter. The one that I have here seems to be fine, but I have a brand new starter, so I'm going to go ahead and replace this one here for that one. And the way I'm going to try to get that out is by using a smaller socket from my set with the extension, and then I'm going to tap it out that way with a rubber hammer. Okay, so let's see if this works out or not. So here it is, right there. That's the old one. It almost seems like it was starting to wear out. You can see that right there, and you couldn't really see it installed. So I'm glad that I am replacing it. So I'm going to go ahead and clean that a little bit, and then I'm going to go ahead and the same way that I got this one out, I'm going to get this one in, but I'm going to turn the transmission around and then try to tap this inside here using the same method I used to get this one out. So I'm just going to use some brake cleaner here and now I'm going to go ahead and turn the transmission around and then press that bushing back in there. So I'm going to show you something here. I want you to see what's happening. So I'm going to use this light right here so you can see better. So like right there, right in that hole is where this little bushing, this brass sleeve goes, right? So if I try to push or press it, you can see that it's really a very tight fit, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use an old trick. I'm gonna put this in the freezer for about an hour so that it shrinks. And then after an hour, I'm gonna take it out of the freezer and then I'm gonna bring it over here and try to press it in, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and pause the video here, and then I'm gonna come back 45 minutes later or an hour later and then try to push this in, okay? Okay guys, so it's now the day after I began to install this bushing. So I got caught up in a few things last night and I couldn't come back to install this bushing after 45 minutes, but this bushing now has been in the freezer now for more than 12 hours, so it's even better. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use a cotton swab right here. I'm going to squirt a few drops of oil into it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to lubricate the inside of that. So I'm going to just lubricate that a little bit. So I'm going to grab this guy here now. And so I'm going to line that right there. Let's see if that's good enough. It actually needs to come in a little bit more, maybe. Right there. Flat. That's perfect. Okay. So I'm going to grab this camera here and show you exactly what I did. Okay, so notice that I did find like a smaller socket that fits perfect inside the inside diameter of the bushing, and then this race part of the bushing actually rests over the top edge of the bushing. So as you saw, I actually tapped it from the other side in. And then I kept tapping it until it went a little bit over this edge right there. So what I did, I put the socket back on this side again, and then I tapped it until I got it flush to that. The other one was past that, and you can see somehow it's got some wear and tear, which somehow I get the impression that the flywheel must have a shoe into it, because I can see markings right here which should not be there. So that's my take on why that's like that. So what I did, I pretty much pressed that back in that way to assure that it won't get damaged in the future. Okay, so one way you can double check to see if your installation was successful and you did not damage the bushing is by grabbing your starter and pretty much installing it back into the transmission and see if it's aligning properly in there. So let me show you that here. So basically, this is my starter right here. So basically I just went ahead and lined it in the stud. Back in there. Then you put your nut back in place. And that's just nut for now, but what I wanted to show you is that the importance of having the proper alignment and also a good bushing. So check it out. Look in here. This is part of your starter. This is the sprocket that engages into the flywheel to start your engine. And then here, this is the Bendix for the starter. And you can see that it's in sight and it's properly aligned in there. So you want to make sure you always check that. Like I said, this one here was still working, but I guess it was already time for it to be replaced. So I'm gonna keep this one here to fix my bell housing jig that I actually use to start my engines when I don't have a transmission out. So I'm gonna save this somewhere in here because I'm gonna reuse that just to fix the bell housing, because my bell housing jig, this part right here, it's wore out. It seems like this hole here, it's too wide, so I need to find a way to fix that. In my other bell housing, my jig, the one that I actually use to start my engines when I have them in the floor. Okay guys, so that's it for installing the alignment bushing for your starter. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, like, share, subscribe. Until then, this is Junior with Classic BW Bucks. Junior out.